So like we get on the plane, Cap, if remind me if I'm saying this right. So we're leaving Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Get on the plane to go to London. We have the show that night. This is at like 10 in the morning. So as we're taking off, it's like, hey, so all of our gear, all of it, guitars, everything that we have here is like stuck in Ireland. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we showed up at customs and they were like, oh, well, it's Sunday, so customs is like closed in the morning or something. I was like, what do you mean? How can customs be closed? Is that a thing that has hours? And so I essentially we called and we're like, hey, we will come and load the stuff on whatever ship or whatever it needs to go to ourselves. And they were like, you can't do it if nobody's there. So we had to find and rent all of the gear that we used for that show. We didn't have a guitar in the arena until 5 p.m. And the show was at 6.
Oh my god!
You should have just utilized social media. Did you ever do that? Just like a quick.
Well,
like,
we did.
story post?
I think my steel guitar player, he found like the only steel guitar in England was like through Miranda Lambert's steel player's friend
cousins, uncles
that like
fucking,
knew.
yeah.
He's like, this is the only guy in England that even owns a steel guitar. And so and it's completely different than Mike's steel guitar player. So he sat in there for like 3 hours, like learning how to play this thing.
Wow.
And I'm knowing, well, Sheeran's going to come out. I'm like, of course this would happen on like the one day. But my team crushed it.
How did you guys link, you and Ed?
We linked. So it was years ago. So it was like my wife had told me years ago, like, hey, my friend from like high school or so, it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She does like, she's like Ed Sheeran's like cuts his hair or something. Like it was something that outrageous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's, whatever. Cool. Sure. And then I remember coming off stage, I believe San Jose, Cap. And so Cap's like, dude, you got to look at this video. And it's Ed Sheeran on his Instagram story singing When It Rains, It Pours. And I was like, huh, well, maybe my wife's friend wasn't like BSing, dude. You know what I mean? So then I hear like through the grapevine, it's like, we're going to try to link you guys up, because he's a fan or whatever. And I'm like, okay, no chance, right? Like Ed Sheeran's like the guy, dude. So anyways, dude, I get all this. One day I just get an email and it's just from Ed Sheeran, dude. And he's like, hey, man.
An email?
An email. Doesn't text.
He's old school.
Doesn't text, doesn't call.
And it was the Ed Sheeran? It wasn't like any management team? Or it was
No, it was him. Yeah. It was him. And he was like, hey, man, I'm going to be in Nashville these dates.
Email me back if you'd like to meet up with me.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
It was like, hit me up if you want to hang out.
Just emailing the whole time.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a
Ed's
long
in his
ass
computer in
process,
his
bro. That
fucking
adds
room.
like 4 or 5 hours to the whole texting
it was
thing.
just email. It was literally just emails.
Were you ever like at a point like, hey, Ed, maybe should we take this to text?
He doesn't have text.
Really?
He doesn't text.
Really?
No.
No cell phone?
No cell phone.
Or maybe have you
No
not
cell
made it
phone.
to the level of
That guy
getting a
rocks
cell
no
phone
cell
number
phone.
yet?
Guy rocks no cell phone.
I don't
The
believe
fuck?
that. I think
That's-
you just have you made the cut yet? Maybe he has a strict cut.
I've been to his house, dude.
Yeah, but does that
Been
mean
to
you
his
made the
house,
cut?
Bob.
I would think so.
All right. I find it very hard to believe that the guy doesn't have a cell phone.
That's a kind of cool way to live, though.
He has a tablet, bro. But he
Okay.
doesn't like he literally
So
doesn't
Ed
have-
Sheeran is a fucking strictly email
He rocks
guy.
a tablet, bro.
strictly email guy.